Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 40 with Carmine live from New York. We're going to learn photography. How's everybody today? It's freezing here in New York. It's like 27 degrees. We had some snow flurries last night. Oh, terrible, terrible weather. But at least I don't have to shovel today. All right. Today, I'm going to start off with, as you know, for 2022, I want to start off each episode, if I can, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to either an individual or a corporation that is pro photographer, that has either encouraged or made advancements or just passed on knowledge of photography to those that want to learn. Okay, today's shout out for January 24th, 2022 goes to my first photography instructor, Mr. Robert Lonergan. He was a New York City public school teacher in the high school system. Mr. Robert Lonergan was my first photography instructor from 1973 through my graduation in 1976. He is the reason I'm sitting here today with almost 5 decades of photography experience under my belt. He is the reason why I was able to photograph magazine covers, do newspaper shoots, and photograph Ronald Reagan. Anyway, he gets a shout out because he, as an individual, gave Carmine, yours truly, every opportunity over the 3 years I studied with him. He gave me every opportunity to grow. He would never say, "You can't do that." If he received a photo assignment from another department that they needed coverage, say for the yearbook, he would. There was, first of all, there was only about 12 of us students that were in the photo squad that were given assignments to go shoot stuff like football games, soccer games, uh, hockey, football game, whatever it was, plays or whatever it was that the school was doing, and that department had wanted coverage. He would go down the list. If you're next, 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 and a lot of time, the students that were in the photo squad with me, they either had jobs after school, they couldn't do it, or they were in that particular other function. They were in the play, or they were on the football team, whatever, and they couldn't do it. He knew he could rely on me because I took those assignments and I treated them as if I worked for Associated Press. I gave my heart and soul to every assignment. This is at the high school level. But the reason I did it, the reason I would shoot every, it sounds minuscule, high school photo assignment was that I wanted to do it for me, and I wanted to show my instructor, Mr. Robert Lonergan from the New York City public school system, that I learned. I took what he taught us and I put it to use. And I actually went from a zero knowledge photographer by the time I graduated after 3 years of photography school with him and my other classmates, that having 5 hours of instruction a week plus another 5 hours of darkroom instruction every week, he molded and gave to the universe hundreds of photographers. Some of those photographers went on to do incredible things. That's a story for another day. All right, so Mr. Robert Lonergan, the shout outs for you. Thank you very much. All right, today, what are we going to discuss today? We have with us a camera, the Nikon F5. Now, before I pick it up and show you guys, we're going to go through a system where some of you might be today with your 35 millimeter film cameras. All right. So let's say right now you have in this case, this is a Nikon. This is the model FTN, right? This is a great camera, right? All mechanical, right? In fact, this one has a little trouble bringing the film advance lever all the way back. It doesn't matter. It still shoots perfectly. What a well-made machine. Okay. Let's say, and the lens on this, by the way, I know a lot of guys want to know. This is the Nikon No, this is the Nikon S 1.4 50 millimeter. Okay, fully manual, everything, right? The focusing on this is feather smooth. The aperturing, right? Feathery, right? Right, beautiful. Shutter still works perfectly. Okay, so let's say you have a camera like this. You have your 35 millimeter, fully manual, fully mechanical camera, and you want to move up. You want to start to get some. Still stay with film, but take it to that next level where you want autofocus, okay, which means you have to get autofocus lenses. You want auto exposure, which means you want a very good light meter built in. You want perhaps auto film advance, right? And you want that look. You want that, say that D3 or D4, Nikon look. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, this one happens to have a monster lens on it. We'll get to that in a second. But this is the Nikon F5, okay? This is a pro level. See, that's not a battery grip. That's built in, okay? Okay, this is the Nikon F5, okay? Professional 35 millimeter camera. 8 frames per second. Beast. Okay, let's just go over the Nikon F5 for a minute. Okay, I hate to hide it. It's such a beautiful camera. Okay, so the Nikon F5. All right, when it came out in 1996, it was selling for $2,300, just the body. Okay, in today's money, that's $3,200. However, today, as you know, I like to give you guys prices, the current market prices on these. Okay, right now on eBay, the F5 in mint condition from Japan is selling for $330. Now remember, if you remember back in episode 1 through 5, we would talk about the 35 millimeter cameras, right? With the lens, these are going for $100. So for the price of 3 of the fully mechanical, no autofocus, no auto exposure cameras, for the price of 3 of them, you can get today for $330 on eBay, plus $49 shipping from Japan. This particular seller has 100% feedback and 941 I call credibility points. eBay calls them feedback scores. Okay, so that's the price. We'll get that out of the way. Next, all right, let's talk about the lens real quick because I know you guys are staring at it. This is the Nikon VR or AFS Nikon. This is the 200 to 500 5.6 ED lens. All right, with full VR. Okay, look at the size of this. Look at that beautiful lens. Of course, this has a lens filter on it also. Okay, but without the giant lens hood. Okay, it's a little bit more manageable. Let me just put this over here somewhere. I'm running out of room. Okay. It's a little bit more manageable without the lens hood. Okay. So you just heard me say that this is an E lens. Okay. This lens, let me just check everything here. Yeah. So this camera, okay, can handle almost any kind of lens before 1976 it has trouble with. But any lens after 1977, right, it can handle it. G lenses, AFD, AFI, AFS, AIP lenses, okay? VR. This camera has the electronic contacts to work the VR, the vibration reduction in the Nikon lenses. Come a long way since the Nikon FTN, right? So what else? 8 frames per second, right? Now, not only does it do 8 frames per second, which you can imagine uses a lot of juice to track and keep in focus each frame, right? And advance the film and have the power to move the motor inside the lenses, right? But here's the best part. What kind of batteries does it take? All right. First, we'll turn it off. Okay. And now we'll open the battery door. Ugh. Okay. Now we're going to open the battery door, which is over here. Okay. Let's take a look. Simple 8 AA batteries. Okay? So, like we said about AA batteries, you can find them in North America, you can find them in Europe, you can find them in every continent in the world. Okay? You don't have to worry about a dedicated, rechargeable lithium power battery made by Nikon, okay, that you can basically only find on Amazon. Okay? 8 AA batteries. Now, how long does that last you? How long do 8 batteries last? Well, I have that information for you. Okay. As soon as I find it. Okay. Okay. Now, with 8 AA alkaline batteries, right? Those are the most common. The alkaline batteries. It'll run 25 rolls of film. That's enough. That's almost enough to do your whole, 3-4 day vacation or photo shoot. All right, 25 rolls of film on one set of 8 alkaline batteries. Now, if you want to pay a little bit more and put in lithium batteries, guess what, guys? 100 rolls of film. This will give you 100 rolls of film before you have to replace the lithium batteries. Okay? So you have to just weigh the cost. The cost of the lithium giving you 4 times the amount of the alkalines. But you know what? My experience is alkaline batteries are so cheap. You buy them by a box of 100 on Amazon, last you a lifetime. Okay? Lithium's nice. Now here's the benefit of using lithium batteries. Okay? Outdoors, in the freezing temperatures, lithiums don't drop. They will continue to give you power even when it's below freezing. All right? That's really where they shine, is in cold weather. Okay? So, let's continue. Let's continue a little bit. All right? Some more facts about the F5. All right? How about this? How about you can put in your film, okay? It's very simple to load the film, right? You just bring that latch. You just bring that latch over. You pick this up. Okay, and there's the back. Okay, there's the back of the F5. Now, you'll see it has all the pins for your DX coated film. Okay, but what else does it have? Okay, on the back, you can push or pull your film. Okay, back here. Okay, back here. Let's turn the camera on. Okay. See, right now, I have it set on ISO 100. Okay, you guys can see that. Now, by pressing in the ISO button, okay, you press in the ISO button and you turn it. How about you can pull your film to ISO 6? Or, how about this? You can push your film. This is ISO now, this isn't shutter speed. To 6,400 ISO. Incredible. Let's close this up. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go over every spec on the F5. There's plenty of websites if you just want to read about specifications. I'm giving you the specs that I use. Okay. So, how about this? Mirror lockup. Okay. 35 millimeter with mirror lockup. That's something, okay, over here. That's something that you only find usually in a medium format camera. And sometimes medium format cameras don't even have mirror lockup. Okay? All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Let's see. Okay, they were made from 1996 to 2004. My model, based on the serial number. All right, that information is easy to find about your camera. Mine was made in 1997. It's 25 years old. Now, mine came from Japan, and it said mint condition. And you know what? It was mint condition. That's why if you go by my standards on how to buy cameras on eBay, you're looking for 100% credibility rating. eBay calls it feedback. Never go lower than 99.2% credibility feedback. You want the seller to have hundreds or thousands of sales, okay? Not 2 feedback scores, okay? If you keep that in mind, and keeping in mind that in Japan, they will probably have the best selection because this is where they were made, and it's a cultural thing. In Japan, they love their cameras and they take care of them. Okay? It's like a family heirloom. All right? Keep that in mind of where you're buying your camera gear from. The shutter speeds. All right? How about this? B, of course. The next step, 30 seconds all the way up to 1/8,000th of a second. Not 1/1000th, not 1/2000th, but 1/8,000th of a second. Let's keep going. Each button and dial and anywhere that where the body has a hole, they put a rubber gasket, making it rain resistant and dust resistant. Not completely impenetrable, but it's resistant to rain and dust. Let's see what else. Okay, so I went out shooting yesterday with this setup, right, with the 200 to 500 and with the F5 body. Went out shooting yesterday here in New York. And let me shut the camera off. Okay, so I went out shooting, and I've used this camera over the years, right? And I realized yesterday that shooting my film cameras with my Sekonic 508, right? This is the L508 Sekonic spot meter, right? It gives you both options, right? But I only use 99% of the time the spot metering, right? This has completely spoiled me for the most accurate exposures ever. Now, you want to know something? This meter used sells for the exact same price as the used F8. The used F8. The used F5. Okay? That goes to show you how coveted these L508s are. The reason I'm bringing this up is that yesterday while shooting, I shot in matrix metering, which is really incredible, accurate, right? But I felt that if I had my L508 Sekonic handheld light meter, right, I could have done a little bit better. Now, anybody out there that knows the F5 knows it has a spot meter setting. I didn't use it. I didn't think about it. I just put it on matrix because I trust the F5 over the years, right? And I should have shot each one, each frame, well, each subject spot metered and then another frame with the matrix metering and then compared them, all right, for today's episode. But today's episode, I just want to go over a few shots that I took, okay? This was yesterday, okay, here in New York, right? I had it on autofocus, right? I had it on matrix metering, and the film was Shanghai GP3, 35 millimeter film, of course, ISO 100. I shot it at box speed. Okay, so this one, fine. I'm happy with the exposure, right? The face of this is a, you know, one of those old-fashioned cast iron horse tie-ups where you would tie up your horse, right? So this one's fine, okay? But this is where this next frame, okay? This is where I know for a fact that if I had shot in manual, right, manual on the Nikon F5 and used the Sekonic L508, I would have gotten a better exposure. Now, I don't want to manipulate these in post-production software to change what it looked like for today's presentation, right? But just look at this. This barrel, this wooden barrel, was in complete shade, right? And these two, right, are all different. Basically, it looks like three different exposures, right? So this was shot with the matrix metering. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. You can see what it is. There's no terrible, it's not terrible, right? But they're a little blown out over here, right? And over here it's a little blown out, right? Detail lost in the shadows, yeah. So what I would have done yesterday is I would have taken a light meter reading on the Sekonic L508, which you can't do, even though the Nikon F5 has spot metering, you can't do this. You can't take a spot meter here, save it in memory, take a light meter reading here, save it in memory, and take a light meter reading here, save it in memory, and then hit average, right? You would hit average, see right here, AVG, average, you hit average, and it gives you the average of the three light spot meter readings, okay? And I just know that it would have been better, all right? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, I'm not, believe me, I will shoot the Nikon F5 in matrix metering again. It's not that I'm writing it off, right? Here, it did a fine job. Here, the matrix metering took into account the bright siding at the top, the shadows on the porch, Okay? It did a fine job. It did a fine job on this. Okay. All right. It did a fine job. Same thing with this shot. Okay. It did a fine job. The metering. All right. The lens is outstanding. The 200 to 500 5.6E lens is incredible. Now this shot was from like a block away at full 500 millimeters. And what am I testing here was I'm testing the vibration reduction. All handheld, no tripod, and it was fine. It really does work. How about a film camera that operates your VR function on your Nikon lenses? Incredible. Whoop. So this one I had some fun with in post-production, right? I just took the contrast slider and made it super high contrast, right? I think it works when you have just pure whites and pure blacks. It works. Remember that this is all about the F5. How did the F5 produce yesterday? Now I see here, okay, now remember, if you want to see these photographs in high definition, go to my gallery, carminetaverna.com. Okay, you'll see all these photographs in high definition. All right, it's hard to tell. I'm just using a webcam here. Okay, but see here, now this was no manipulation in post-production software, and I use Movavi Picverse as my software, right? I do not use Lightroom or Photoshop, okay? I use Movavi Picverse. I'm not sponsored by them. In fact, today's episode is sponsored by yours truly. Okay, so now the matrix metering, all right, did a fine job. In fact, if I had my spot meter with me, right, yesterday I would have taken spot meter reading here, here, and probably here. All right, and I think the result would have been the same. So the matrix metering worked out fine in this case. Okay, we'll keep going. All right, now, yes, this is a shot that had incredible bright. This is a white building, right? So it was incredibly white here, black shutters, right? So you had a full range here, but the matrix metering did a fine job. Okay, and see now this one, okay, this shot, right? I think the Sekonic spot meter with the 3 reading averaging could have, in fact, I know it would have done a little bit better job than the matrix metering. But you can't really blame the matrix metering. Look at what it had to do. Dark shadows at the bottom. Bright, almost mirror-like window hitting the sun directly, reflecting it right into the meter, right? Dark shadows here, okay, as well as on the other side. So if I had the Sekonic L508 spot meter yesterday, right, I would have taken a meter reading here, saved it, here, saved it, and here, saved it. Hit average, right? I would have hit the average button. The way it works is you look through here, right? You look through here. Let's see, can you see? Yeah, see that? You put that dot on whatever you want to take a meter reading of, and you press the button right below where your eye is. Boop. Takes the reading, and then underneath the viewing lens, you hit this. Oh, what's that say? Memory. Listen. You click it, and it saves it. It'll save up to 3. Okay? Then you take another meter reading, right? Right? You take another meter reading. Come on. Right? You see the little circle? Right? Come on. You take another meter reading, right? Click, memory, click, memory 3. 3 meter readings. You hit average, boop, boom. And it tells you the average spot meter reading for wherever you took those readings. All right. The key is, where do you take the readings? You want to take it in the darkest, the brightest, and medium gray, okay, of the shot. And it always gives you a perfect meter reading. That's why the Sekonic L508 used sells for the same price, 300 and what I say, $340, as the entire camera, no lens, the entire camera, the Nikon F5 from Japan. Okay, so did we go over everything? Okay, remember, when you guys feel like it's time to graduate from your 35 millimeter, right? Not just Nikon, right? But whatever camera you're using that's fully manual, right? When you want to feel like it's time to graduate, remember, you can sell this on eBay, right? Remember, they're going for 100, so you sell it for 100, you get that 100, and now your new your 25-year-old Nikon F5, right? Now you only got to come up with another 200 or so, right, to get your autofocus, auto exposure. It'll run your VR lenses, okay? It'll focus your lenses that don't have a built-in focusing motor, right, to the ones that do have silent wave motors, right? So it's up to you guys to decide when you want to upgrade to a pro autofocus camera with professional grade, right? This was meant for the news and sports, action, wildlife photographers, right? And remember the benefits I told you about. Unlike the D3, let's say the Nikon D3, where you need specialized batteries, and if you run out, if you don't have 5 of them charged, right, you're screwed. Remember, the Nikon film camera F5 uses only 8 AA batteries. If you use alkaline, it'll give you at least 25 rolls of film. If you use lithium, it'll give you at least 100 rolls of film. Okay? I think I covered everything. Excuse me. Remember, please subscribe. Come on. I'll take your finger. Take your finger for a walk. Broop, 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 broop. There you go. You're subscribed. It really helps me out. Give me a thumbs up. Ta-da! No thumbs down. Remember, in ancient Rome, they used to do thumbs down to let the lion out and kill the guy. You don't want that. Comment below, please. If you don't want to comment below, it's something, some people aren't comfortable commenting in public. Email me, blackandwhitephoto@aol.com. I get many emails a day, and I answer them privately also. All right, if you have any questions about photography, just email me, blackandwhitephoto@aol.com. And the other thing is my gallery with all these photos, right? My photos for the last, I don't know, maybe decade. I don't know. I don't know how far back my website goes, but it's years and years of my photographs. And it's a helpful teaching tool also, because it lists the camera and the gear for most of the shots. It lists the camera and the gear, so you have an idea of how the photograph was taken. Okay, I try and list lately. I try and also add how each photograph was processed. Okay, for example, right? Oops, sorry. Okay, for example, on the back of each photograph, right, I put a label. I bought a Dymo label maker. They're so cheap. You plug it in, it comes up on your screen. You just type in the place, your location, your name, the date, the equipment used, the camera, the lens, the developer. Because not just to do it, but for you to refer back to. Because believe me, not in 10 years, but next week, you may not remember. Gee, I want to recreate. The gray tones and the blacks in this particular picture. What film did I use? What was my development? All right. So in this particular case, right? Well, for this picture too, you could look at this picture because it's all the same, right? It was Shanghai GP3 film, 100 ISO, and I developed it in D76, which is my go-to developer. 1+3, that's my go-to formula, 1+3. And I developed it for 15 and a half minutes. Why? Because the chemistry, my developer, stop bath, fixer, water, because I keep it in jugs, right, to keep everything the same temperature, right, was 63 degrees yesterday. So on the massive development chart online, massive development chart, you find what it should be developed at 68 degrees. You put that information into this other chart that says time and temperature conversion, and you just put in what's the temperature of your chemicals, and it'll tell you the new time, right? I developed these at 15 and a half minutes, right? It was supposed to be 13 minutes. So for 2.5 more minutes, boom, I got the same exact result as if I had developed it in 68 degree chemistry for 13 minutes. Okay? So, remember today's shout out goes to my first photography instructor, Mr. Robert Lonigan from the New York City Public School System. He was instrumental beyond anybody's expectation, including my own, of how much he had an effect on my life, really, because photography has been part of my life since 1973. Okay? So, and a shout out really to all teachers of photography, whether it's at the university level or at the high school level, all across the United States and across Europe and Canada and the world, because it's a very tough job. They're like art teachers or music teachers. It's all under the same umbrella, that you take this blank page, the student's blank page, and you, through your instruction and care and kindness, you mold. It sounds so ridiculous, but it is true. You mold this kid, this high school kid, into a person that when he graduates, you throw him out the door, and then you look back and here's a guy in his gray-haired age, and he took what he learned and ran with it, and there you have photography. It's a crazy thing, photography. Once it bites you, you're hooked. All right, guys. I don't want to get too melancholy. All right? Have a great day. Today's Monday. It's a brand new week. Let's get out there. I know it's January. I know it's probably cold wherever you are. But get out there and take some pictures. All right? And remember, I didn't touch on this lately. If you have an automobile, right? Don't think for a second, that it's cheating somehow to stay in your nice warm car with the heater on and drive to location, whether it's in the forest or in a park, wherever it's legal to drive through, or an old country road, and open your window and shoot right from the window of your car. Okay? It's not cheating. You open your window, you slow down, of course, put it in park, you got to be careful, right? Or better yet, take a friend to drive and you shoot out the passenger window, okay, you'd be surprised at how many award-winning photographs were taken from the warmth and comfort inside your automobile. All right, guys? Just get out and start photographing today. All right? And the other thing I wanted to remind you, right? If you shoot a roll of 36, you're looking for 3 or 4 keepers. 10%. If you can get 10% of your shots to be keepers worthy enough to be printed and put online, Instagram, your website, okay? You print them, you put them in your album, okay? Your portfolio, right? That's what you're shooting for. You're shooting for 10%. If you get that good and you can get 3 or 4 keepers out of a roll of 36, you're light years ahead of everybody else, because that's what you shoot for, 10%. All right, guys, let me get the right button over here. Have a great day. And remember, I'm so glad you came with me. We're up to episode 40. This is incredible. We have so much more to learn. Have a great day, guys. See you on the next video.